Welcome to Becoming Boss C. Part 1 of the Certified Internal Auditor exam, or CIA exam, is all about the foundations of internal auditing. Speaking of foundation, there are a few basic terms and concepts that you should be familiar with when you start studying for Part 1. They are the definition of internal auditing, the mission of internal audit, the core principles for the profession of internal auditing, and the Institute of Internal Auditors Code of Ethics. Before we discuss this topic and other topics, be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more videos. All right, let's talk about the definition of internal auditing. Internal auditing is an objective, independent assurance and consulting activity designed to add value and improve an organization's operations. Internal auditing helps an organization accomplish its objectives by bringing a systematic, disciplined approach to evaluate and improve the effectiveness of risk management, control, and governance. The keywords here that you will most likely see on the exam are add value. This is because internal auditors' main goal is to add value to the organization as we evaluate procedures, processes, and operational activities. Additional keywords are independent and objective. Once you start reading the professional standards, you will learn that it is essential for internal auditors to be independent and objective so that we are not biased or make conclusions based on our familiarity with key process owners. Our opinions and conclusions should be based on facts and not on our feelings. Now, let's move on to the mission of internal audit. The mission of internal audit specifies what internal audit aspires to accomplish within an organization. The mission is to enhance and protect organizational value by providing risk-based and objective assurance, advice, and insight. This mission drives the internal audit activities strategy to accomplish goals and add value to the organization. If you made it this far, comment below, I have a solid foundation. Learning the definition of internal auditing and the mission of internal audit will definitely help you build a solid foundation for passing Part 1 of the Certified Internal Auditor exam. So comment, I have a solid foundation. While I cannot disclose the questions that were on Part 1 of my CIA exam, I am sure that you will need to be knowledgeable about what internal auditing is and the mission of internal audit. Next, let's discuss the core principles for the profession of internal auditing. The core principles define internal audit effectiveness. When all principles are present and operating cohesively, the internal audit function achieves maximum efficiency. Although every internal auditor may approach the core principles differently, a failure to achieve any of the principles would signal that an internal audit activity is not performing at its maximum potential. The core principles are to demonstrate integrity, to demonstrate competence and do professional care, is objective and free from undue influence. In other words, it's independent, aligns with the strategies, objectives, and risks of the organization, is appropriately positioned and adequately resourced, demonstrates quality and continuous improvement, communicates effectively, provides risk-based assurance, is insightful, proactive, and future-focused, promotes organizational improvement. So these are all core principles that an internal audit activity should be following. This includes the internal auditors that are within an internal audit department. All right, so these are also very key to your understanding and your foundation of understanding internal audit as well. So make sure that you understand the key words here, such as integrity, competence, and do professional care, being independent, being adequately positioned and adequately resourced, and etc. Next, moving on to the introduction to the Code of Ethics. The Code of Ethics states the principles and expectations governing the behavior of individuals and organizations in the conduct of internal auditing. It describes the minimum requirements for conduct and behavioral expectations rather than specific activities. So these are basic requirements and not specific activities that must be performed. The purpose of the Code of Ethics is to promote an ethical culture in the profession of internal auditing. Remember, internal auditing is an independent, objective assurance and consulting activity designed to add value and improve an organization's operations. Now, what was that? That was the definition of internal audit. So I'm just going to sprinkle that in there occasionally so that you can memorize that, because trust me, you're going to see that on your exam. A code of ethics is necessary and appropriate for the profession of internal auditing. It extends beyond the definition of internal auditing to include two essential components. First, principles that are relevant to the profession and practice of internal auditing. And secondly, rules of conduct that describe behavioral norms expected of internal auditors. These rules are an aid to interpreting the principles into practical applications and are expected to guide the ethical conduct of internal auditors. The term internal auditors refers to members of the Institute of Internal Auditors, recipients or candidates for IIA professional certifications, and those who perform internal audit services within the definition of internal auditing. So, this most likely applies to you since you are watching this video. Now, moving on to the applicability and enforcement of the Code of Ethics. The Code of Ethics has principles. Internal auditors are expected to apply and uphold the following principles. First, integrity. The integrity of internal auditors establishes trust and therefore provides the basis for reliance on their judgment. Second, objectivity. Internal auditors exhibit the highest level of professional objectivity in gathering, evaluating, and communicating information about the activity or process being examined. Internal auditors make a balanced assessment of all the relevant circumstances and are not unduly influenced by their own interests or by others in forming judgments. Confidentiality. Internal auditors respect the value and ownership of information they receive and do not disclose information without appropriate authority unless there is a legal or professional obligation to do so. Competency. Internal auditors apply the knowledge, skills, and experience needed in the performance of internal audit services. I mentioned there are principles, but there are also rules of conduct. So let's look at the rules of conduct for integrity. Internal auditors shall perform their work with honesty, diligence, and responsibility. They shall observe the law and make disclosures expected by the law and the profession. They shall not knowingly be a party to any illegal activity or engage in acts that are discreditable to the profession of internal auditing or to the organization. They shall respect and contribute to the legitimate and ethical objective of the organization. The rules of conduct for objectivity. Internal auditors shall not participate in any activity or relationship that may impair or be presumed to impair their unbiased assessment. This participation includes activities or relationships that may be in conflict with the interests of the organization. They shall not accept anything that may impair or be presumed to impair their professional judgment. They shall disclose all material facts known to them that, if not disclosed, may distort the reporting of activities under review. Next, the rules of conduct for confidentiality. Internal auditors shall be prudent in the use and protection of information acquired in the course of their duties. They shall not use the information for any personal gain or in any manner that would be contrary to the law or detrimental to the legitimate and ethical objectives of the organization. Finally, the rules of conduct related to competency. Internal auditors shall engage only in those services for which they have the necessary knowledge, skills, and experience. They shall perform internal audit services in accordance with the international standards for the professional practice of internal auditing. They shall continually improve their proficiency and the effectiveness and quality of their services. And this goes along with having your annual CPE or continuing professional education requirements that are required when you become a certified internal auditor. So, if you made it this far, comment below, I have a solid foundation, because we are building the foundation for learning how to pass part 1 of the CIA exam. Also, go ahead and like this video if you found it informative. Subscribe for more great videos if you have not done so already, because we are on the journey to 1,000 subscribers. If you are returning as a subscriber, thank you so much. As always, stay blessed and stay Boss C.